In this video, we are going to discuss the concept of rank of a matrix. The number of unique rows or number of unique columns in a matrix is called its rank. Let's illustrate this idea by assuming a hypothetical matrix A containing 2 rows and 3 columns. If you focus on elements in row number 2, you can see that the elements in row 2 can be obtained just by multiplying each element in row number 1 by a constant 2. 1 into 2 you get this 2, 2 into 2 you get this 4, 3 into 2 you get 6. So notationally we write it as row 2 is equal to 2 times row 1. So it means each element in row number 1 is multiplied by this constant 2 to obtain the elements in row number 2. So in other words, we say that the elements in row number 2, they depend upon the elements in row number 1. Or we say that row number 2 is not unique. If a row in a matrix depends upon any other row, then we say that that row cannot be unique. Similar definition holds for the columns. If a column in a matrix depends upon any other column, then that column cannot be considered as unique column. Alternatively, we can look for number of unique columns as well. So if you look at the second column containing two elements 2 and 4, so these can be obtained by multiplying the elements in column 1 by constant 2. So 1 into 2 you get this 2, 2 into 2 you get this 4. So again notationally we write it as column 2 is equal to 2 times column 1. So it means if you multiply each element in column 1 by constant 2, you get the elements in column 2. Similarly, look at the elements in column 3. They are 3 and 6 and they can be obtained by multiplying each element in column 1 by constant 3. So 1 into 3 you get this 3, 2 into 3 you get this 6. So notationally we write it as column 3 equals to 3 times column 1. So it means if we multiply each element in column 1 by constant 3, we get the elements in column 3. So in other words, we say that both column 2 and column 3, they depend upon column 1. So they cannot be unique columns. And by the way, column 2 and column 3, they also depend upon each other via this relation. So we can see that if you multiply this constant 2 by 1.5, so 2 into 1.5 is 3 and 4 into 1.5 is 6. So it means if you multiply each element in column 2 by constant 1.5, you get the elements in column 3. So column 3 and column 2 are also related with each other by this relation C3 equals 1.5 times C2. As far as the first two expressions are concerned, we can clearly see that column 2 depends upon column 1 and column 3 also depends upon column 1. So both column 2 and column 3, although they depend upon each other by this relation C3 equals 1.5 times C2, but they also depend upon column 1. So we cannot consider column 2 and column 3 as unique columns. So the only unique column in this matrix A is the first column, which is column 1. So number of unique columns in matrix A is just 1. So now according to definition of rank of a matrix, the number of unique rows or number of unique columns in a matrix is called its rank. So number of unique rows in this matrix A is 1 and number of unique columns in this matrix A is also 1. So we say that rank of matrix A is 1. Let's explain this idea by considering another matrix B of order 3 by 3. B has 3 rows and 3 columns. So let's first check the number of unique rows in this matrix B. Look at row number 2. It has 3 elements 0, 2 and 2. So we can clearly see that the elements in row number 2 have no relation with elements in row number 1. So we write it as row 2 has no relation with row 1. So the rank of B is at least 2 because there are at least 2 rows which can be unique. So now let's check the uniqueness of row number 3. So row 3 has 3 elements 1, 4 and 5. So we can see that if we add the elements in row 1 and row 2, we get the elements in row number 3. So 1 plus 0, we get this 1, 2 plus 2, we get this 4, 3 plus 2, we get this 5. So we say that row 3 equals row 1 plus row 2. So it means the elements in row 3 cannot be unique because they can be obtained by adding elements in row number 1 and row number 2. So total number of unique rows in this matrix B is 2. So rank of B is, according to number of unique rows, is 2. Alternatively, we can check for the number of unique columns. Look at the elements in column 2. We can see that the elements in column 2 have no relation with elements in column 1. So C2 has no relation with C1. So it means there are two unique columns, column 1 and column 2. Now let's check the uniqueness of column 3. We can see that column 3 can be obtained by adding column 1 and column 2. 1 plus 2 you get this 3, 0 plus 2 you get this 2, 1 plus 4 you get this 5. So notationally we write it as C3 equals C1 plus C2. So it means column 3 can be obtained as a combination of column 1 and column 2, and it is sum of column 1 and column 2. So it means column 3 cannot be considered as a unique column. So the total number of unique columns in this matrix B is just 2. So we say that the rank of matrix B according to number of unique columns is 2. So number of unique rows is 2, number of unique columns is also 2. So the rank of matrix B is considered as 2. Let's consider another matrix D of order 3 by 3. So it has 3 rows and 3 columns. Let's check the number of unique rows in this matrix D. We can see that the elements in row number 2, they cannot be obtained from the elements in row number 1. So we write it as row 2 has no relation with row 1. So rank of this matrix D is at least 2 because there are 2 unique rows. Let's check the uniqueness of this row number 3. Look at the elements in row number 3. 1, minus 4 and minus 3. Whether these elements have any relation with the elements in row number 1 or with the elements in row number 2 or any combination of elements in row number 1 and row number 2. So take a moment and come up with some relation. Yes, you are right. There exists a relation, and the relation is R1 minus 3 times R2. This gives you the elements in R3. So multiply row 2 by 3 and subtract the resultant number from row 1. So multiply this 0 by 3. The answer is 0. So subtract 0 from 1, you get this 1. And now multiply this element in row 2 by 3, you get 6. And subtract this 6 from 2, row number 1, you get this minus 4. And now multiply this 2 with 3, the answer is 6. Subtract this 6 from this 3, you get minus 3. So you can see that row 3 depends upon row 1 and row 2 via this complicated relation. So we say that there are only 2 unique rows, and that are row number 1 and row number 2. So number of unique rows is 2. So rank of D is 2. Alternatively, we can also check the number of unique columns in matrix D as well. Look at the elements in column 2. The elements are 2, 2 and minus 4. So clearly we can see that the elements in column 2 have no relation with the elements in column 1. So C2 has no relation with C1. But look at the elements in column 3. 3, 2, minus 3. They can be obtained by simply adding the elements in column 1 and column 2. 1 plus 2 you get this 3, 0 plus 2 you get this 2, and 1 minus 4 you get minus 3. So notationally we write it as C3 equals C1 plus C2. So it means the elements in column 3 depend upon the elements in column 1 and column 2. So it means column 3 cannot be considered as a unique column. So total number of unique columns in matrix D is 2. Hence we say that rank of this matrix D is 2. Consider another example of finding rank of a matrix, and this time we are considering the identity matrix of order 3. The matrix having element 1 on the diagonals and element 0 on the off diagonals. So let's check the number of unique rows in this matrix I. Clearly, row number 2 cannot be obtained from row number 1, and row number 3 cannot be obtained from either row number 1 or row number 2. So it means all 3 rows are independent. So total number of unique rows in this matrix is 3. And similarly, we can see that the total number of unique columns is also 3, because all 3 rows and all 3 columns are independent. So we say that rank of this identity matrix I is 3. There is an important point to note in all the examples that we have discussed so far. And that important point is that the rows and columns always agree on the rank. The total number of unique rows is always equal to total number of unique columns. Isn't it amazing? Yeah, it is. And it's true as well. So in future, if you are supposed to calculate rank of a given matrix, there is no need to work out both cases. That is finding number of unique rows and finding number of unique columns. So you can only find the number of unique rows, that will be considered as a rank of the matrix, or you can only find the number of unique columns. There is no need to carry out both calculations, because ultimately the row rank, the number of unique rows, and the column rank, the number of unique columns, they are always equal. One last point before closing this lecture is what exactly rank of a matrix tells us. So rank tells if we have a chance to solve a system of equations or not. If rank equals the number of variables, then the system of equations has a unique solution. Let's illustrate this idea by considering a system of two equations. Equation 1 is 2x plus 3y equals 6, and equation 2 is 3x plus 3y equals 7. So we can write these two equations into matrix notation as, just by writing the coefficients of x and y, 2 and 3 in the first equation and 3 and 3 in the second equation, and writing these x and y in the form of a vector, and putting equal sign 6 and 7, the values on the right hand side, in the form of a vector as well. And we can denote this matrix form as Ax equals B, where A is this matrix, X is this vector containing two elements x and y, and B is this vector containing two elements 6 and 7. So now look at this matrix A and check for the rank of this matrix A. The first row has two elements 2 and 3, the second row has two elements 3 and 3, and we can see that the second row has no relation with the first row. So it means there are two unique rows. So in this case, the rank of this matrix A is 2. So rank is 2 and number of variables is also 2. So if rank equals number of variables, then the system has a unique solution. We can say that these two equations will yield a unique solution for the values of x and y. So let's solve the system of these two equations simultaneously. The simplest idea is to subtract equation 1 from equation 2. So subtracting equation 1 from 2, we can see that 3y will get cancelled with 3y, and 3x minus 2x we get x, and 7 minus 6 is 1. So x will be equal to 1. So x equals 1, and then replacing x equal to 1 in equation 1. So 2 into 1 you get 2 plus 3y equals 6, or 3y equals to 6 minus 2, or 3y is equal to 4, or y equals to 4 by 3. So x equals 1 and y is equal to 4 by 3 is the solution of this system of two equations. So we can see that this solution is a unique solution. Only these values of x and y satisfy these two equations. This solution is unique because rank of this matrix A is 2 and the number of unknowns or number of variables in this system of two equations is also 2. So since rank equals number of variables, so the system has a unique solution. Let's consider another system of two equations. Now this time equation 1 is same as before, 2x plus 3y equals 6, but we have changed equation 2 to 4x plus 6y equals 12. So writing the system of these two equations in matrix form, we can write matrix of coefficients 2, 3, 4, 6 and then xy and then 6, 12 as before, and naming the matrix of coefficients as A, the vector containing variables x and y as x, and the vector containing these two constants 6 and 12 as B. Let's find the number of unique rows in matrix A. Row 1 has 2 elements 2, 3, row 2 has 2 elements 4, 6. So we can see that the elements in row 2 can be obtained by multiplying the elements in row 1. So 2 into 2 you get this 4, 2 into 3 you get this 6. So it means row 2 is not a unique row. So the only unique row in this matrix A is row number 1. So rank of this matrix A is 1. Since number of variables is 2, whereas the rank of matrix A is 1, so it means the solution of this system cannot be unique. Why? Because the rank of coefficient matrix must be equal to number of variables in the system. The number of variables in the system is 2, x and y. There are two variables. But the rank of this coefficient matrix is 1. So no unique solution exists. And we can see that there exist infinite solutions. Considering only the first equation, because second equation is just a multiple of first equation, so we can see that when x is 0, so then y is 2. So it means 0 and 2 is a solution of this equation. Similarly, when x is 1, so then 2 into 1, 2. So 2 plus 3y equals 6, or 3y equals 4, or y is equal to 4 by 3. So x equals 1 and y equals 4 by 3 is another solution. And when you replace x by 2 here, so 2 into 2, 4, plus 3y equals 6, or 3y equals to 2, or y is equal to 2 by 3. So x2 and y 2 by 3 is another solution. And also when x is 3, so 3 into 2, 6, plus 3y equals 6, or 3y equal to 6 minus 6, or 3y equals 0, or y equals 0. So 3 and 0 is another solution. So we can see that infinite solutions exist for the system of these two equations, and these solutions are 0 and 2. We can replace x by 0 and y by 2. We can see that left hand side becomes equal to right hand side. Similarly, 1 and 4 by 3 is another solution, 2 and 2 by 3 is another solution, 3 and 0 is another solution, and so on. So there exist infinite solutions. So this concludes this lecture.